From an illustrious career in the advertising industry, Brett Dolan found himself behind the bars of a Brazilian prison for drug trafficking.
So, like initially I thought, like, I shouldn't be here. Like, I'm not a criminal. Like, they got the wrong guy. Like, I was brought up well, and it dawned on me like, I did this. I am a criminal and I deserve to be in this place.
Brett's decade-long struggle with addiction started the moment he experimented with crack cocaine. It didn't take long before his addiction forced him to be a drug mule. His second trafficking trip from Brazil landed him in prison.
From the moment I started using crack cocaine, my life has never been the same. I pawned everything that I had, the shoes I had. Pretty much I was like left with nothing. I was in and out Hillbrow, I was doing check fraud with the Nigerians, and then eventually I was caught. I was caught doing check fraud in Sandton City.
This wasn't an adequate deterrent to a mind clouded by intoxicants.
For some reason, I saw the Nigerians speaking to somebody on the telephone, and they were speaking in Portuguese, and I had like a terrible feeling, and I just didn't know what it was. Like, I couldn't place it, I couldn't speak, I didn't understand the language, couldn't understand what they were saying, but I knew something was wrong. And I got my ticket, and I went to the immigration where they stamp your passports. As I gave my passport, the guy read my passport and he read my name, Brett Dolan, and he started shouting on the top of his voice, "Cocaine, cocaine." I thought, shh, not so loud. I said to the guy, not so loud, people will hear.
Brett Dolan spent 4 years in a Brazilian prison for trafficking drugs. This was after he agreed to be a drug mule in order to feed his habit. It was during this period when the streets of Hillbrow became his home, something he wouldn't have done had he followed his sporting ambitions. Now the drug lords were his only source of income and survival.
I've been on the street for a couple of weeks and it's getting too much. I'm begging for money for food, begging money for drugs, begging money for this, sleeping on cardboard boxes, like just missioning with whoever would like accept me. And that thought popped into my mind, that conversation I had with that Nigerian that one time. And he said like, no, if I'm interested, I must let him know.
He was in a position where he knew what he was doing carried an immense amount of risk. But he was at the point where he compulsively sought drugs, and he didn't have the finances anymore to have this habit, and his family already got rid of him and all of those kind of things. So this was his last resort.
They told me they can send me to Brazil. I'll bring back drugs, and it'll be a quick thing. Go over. 2 weeks later, I would have my money. And everything will be good.
No good could come out of that trip. Brazil was bound to be a nightmare.
The first Christmas I spent there, first Christmas and New Year, it was the change of the millennium from 1999 to 2000. And I still remember about a year before that, I was listening to a radio program, 702, and the presenter was asking the callers to call in, where would they be on the change of the millennium? And I still remember making a joke to myself. I said to myself, I'm probably going to be in jail. And true as hell, I was in jail, the change of the millennium.
The time spent behind bars stretched to eternity. Gang violence and the harsh realities of incarceration had Brett finding solace in drugs.
All I could do was snort as much cocaine as I could. One day turned into 2 days, 2 days turned into 3 days. Before I knew it, I had like drug dealers after my blood, taking drugs, got no way of paying. But that's like another whole story.
the trauma that he's going through in prison, he knows that the reason he's in prison is for using drugs and smuggling drugs and being addicted and all of those things, but he needs that drug to cope with prison. And that is extremely difficult, and this is the confusion and the battle that addicts face.
Something really bad happened to me in those holding cells, which I don't really want to talk about right now. It's something that I'm still trying to deal with in my present day.
A better day finally dawned. Brett came back home, but the proverbial monkey was still on his back.
When I came out of prison, because I had post-traumatic stress syndrome, the first year I drank so much alcohol, I took so much ecstasy. It took me a long time to relapse on my drug of choice, but when I started relapsing my drug of choice, like my life quickly went downhill, quickly. It was a long process. I think it was about 2 or 3 years. Eventually, after a couple of rehabs, I ended up going to a rehab at the South Coast. I spent approximately 17 months there. It was a long, long process. My walk with drugs and addiction and recovery, it's been a long process.
Even after treatment, the addict's behavior still stays there. Your brain have mental scripts and your brain remembers the pleasure you get from using drugs. So even after treatment, you still have those memories.
After a long period of spiritual cleansing and self-reflection, Brett opened a rehab.
We had no idea what we were doing. We really had no idea what we were doing. All I had was the heart and the vision to be involved in recovery. And it's been a long process. From point A to point B where I'm sitting today, wow, it's been one of the hardest processes to get involved.
It's a game we play when you're in a swimming pool and then you...
Marco Polo.
Okay, the other one I don't know.
So then you can only move 2.
The hourglass is still going.
Yeah.
Break up the words. Break up the words like as
Okay, in the night,
Stars.
the moon, what do we have?
Sun.
Okay, stop! Gratitude is like the shortest lived human emotion, and I've taken a lot of stuff for granted. However, as I sit here today, I'm feeling really, really grateful for the way life has gone.